All right, this is a quick guide on how to get started with editing your Miss Kitties video. So first thing you'll do is you will plug in your own hard drive. My hard drive is called KC2024. Yours will have its own name, whatever it is. And then go ahead and open up your own hard drive and find your Video Production Lab folder wherever that is. So you can see all the way my files are laid out here. They're a little bit different than yours. But find your folder for this class and go ahead and make a folder inside of your Video Production Lab folder called Miss Kitties or whatever you want to call it. So just make sure you have a folder on your own hard drive that's called Miss Kitties or whatever. It's going to be your own stuff. Have that open and then just keep that open and then plug in the other hard drive, the one that has the footage that I've given you. This actually, it's not called GVU Video, it's a different hard drive, but it's the one that's in the equipment room. You can pick up that hard drive and open it up, and then you should be able to find, again, in that hard drive, you'll find the footage that you filmed. It is also called Miss Kitties, and it has your audio, exports, graphics, media, projects, and a PDF of the VSOT that Isabel recorded for you. Go ahead and take all of those files and drag and drop them. Don't drag them onto the desktop. Drag them instead onto your hard drive, directly onto your hard drive, into your Miss Kitties folder that you just made. So you have your 5 folder set up. It's already there. It should only take a couple minutes, and then those files will be on your own hard drive. Then after you've done that, you can eject. Just right-click to eject the other the hard drive, the shared hard drive, and return it to the equipment room so other students can get it. And then you can begin editing, again, making sure you edit from your own hard drive, not from files that are on the desktop of the computer, but on your own hard drive. So you go to your Miss Kitties folder. I've already done this on this one, and I have my 5 folders set up. Inside the audio folder will be the audio you recorded and the VOSOT that Isabel gave you. There's nothing in the exports folder, nothing in the graphics folder, nothing in the projects folder, and then the media folder is organized by camera A, camera B, and camera C. Once you have all those files, you're ready to open up a Premiere project. I've already got Premiere opened up here. You know how to open up a Premiere project, but we'll get Premiere going. And it looks like my welcome window is gone, so I'm just going to go to File, New Project. And the title of this project is going to be Miss Kitties, your name. So I'll just call it Miss Kitties Casey. Make sure under Project Location, you choose Location. Find where stuff goes on your hard drive. So this is the name of my hard drive. Find your Miss Kitties folder and find that Projects folder in there. You can uncheck all of these things here. You don't need a template or anything like that. Just click Create. And we've got a blank Premiere project. I can begin by going to Finder, the blue face guy down here, and I can go ahead and add my media folder and my audio folder. I'm just going to drag and drop, and drag and drop. And again, the way I like to see these folders is not this icon view. Oh, I got to wait for this to finish importing. Instead of seeing this icon view like this, I like to see this list view like this. I use the icon view for some things, and you're going to see in a minute what I use that for, but list view is easier for me. I can see I have all my audio files here and my media files here. What I'm actually going to start with is I'm actually just going to make a sequence from scratch, a blank sequence with nothing in it. So to do that, I'm going to go up to File, then New, then Sequence. The sequence I'm going to make, these are all different presets for a sequence. I'm going to go to Settings and make it from scratch. Settings, Custom is what I'm going to choose. Should be the first option. The time base is going to be 23976, 24 frames per second. My frame size will be 1920 by 1080, full HD. Square pixels, everything else I can ignore. And then my sequence name, I'm going to call this Miss Kitties, your name, and then cut 1. You're going to actually make 2 cuts of this. You're going to make a first cut and a final cut. This is the first cut. Click OK. And I've got a sequence. You can see it right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a sequences folder. So I can put my sequences in because you know I like to be super organized. I can just click the little folder icon, call it sequences, and then drop that sequence in there. Okay. And now I have a blank sequence with nothing in it. the first thing that's going to go in the sequence is actually not a video file. It is the VOSOT. That's the first thing, because that's really the structure for this video. So I take this VOSOT, I'm going to drag and drop it right into here. Now you can see my sequence, the default length of the sequence is something like 10 minutes long, but the VOSOT is only about a minute long, right? So my final video might only be a couple minutes long. Because of that, I'm going to have to zoom in. So I'll use my little zoom rockers here to zoom in. And I want to make this taller. I want to make these waveforms a bit bigger. So I can move my cursor between these two tracks, drag that down, and now I can see all the waveforms from Isabel's recording. Now what I'd like to do next is listen through this and cut out any of the dead space. I'm actually going to cut out these segments of the VOSOT into their separate sentences. It might help to go into Finder and actually find this PDF that Isabel made. This is actually the VOSOT, the whole structure for it. So in her structure, the stand-up is first. She didn't write out the text of what she said in her stand-up, but that's first. Then the VOSOT, then a quote, then a VOSOT, then another quote. And you can sort of see the structure going on and on like that. I'm going to go ahead and cut out here, cut this into segments for each line of the VOSOT. So let's move the playhead to the beginning.
Learning to line dance can be intimidating for people with little time.
So that's the first part here. And I can use my little cut tool. I'm actually going to cut out this breath here. You can hear her breathing in. I'll cut that out. I'll just cut right there and then listen to the end of this line.
Learning to line dance can be intimidating for people with little to no dance experience. It can also be hard to find a good place to start, especially in a big city like Des Moines. Miss Kitty's is a great place for both beginner and more advanced line dancers.
So that was the end of the first thing that she said. So it's the end of this opening VOSOT right here. So at the end of that, I'm going to use my little razor blade here, cut that, and I'm also going to cut out to the very beginning of the next part of the VOSOT right there. Then I can use my selection tool, highlight that bit that I don't need anymore, and just delete it. And listen to the next part here.
James Cole Clazier has been line dancing his whole life, and teaching has always been a passion of his. Though he spends most of his time teaching, he still loves to learn a good line dance.
So that's the next part. I'll cut that, cut the next part, deleting all of that. And you can sort of see how this works, right? So I'm cutting out the dead space in between those. I'm also cutting out the breathing in part. That often is at the beginning.
Miss Kitty's is a line dancing bar, but
and I'm just kind of going through, finding these bits.
Lifelong friendships.
Cutting out those bits. And you can sort of get the idea here. The shortcuts, by the way, for the razor blade tool is C to get the razor blade and V to get that selection tool. So I'm cutting those out. And the very last bit there. So now my VOSOT has been cut into these nice, neat segments here. And zooming out here. So I can see these and I can move these around as I need to. Now the structure of the video is actually going to be the first thing that we hear is not, oh, I got to cut out the very beginning part there. Whoops. So the structure of this video, the way that Isabella set it out is that it's not going to be, the first thing I hear is not going to be the VOSOT. Under her structure, the first thing I actually will hear is the stand-up. But you can structure this how you want to. If you want to hear the VOSOT first, and then go from the VOSOT to the stand-up and then to the quote, you can do that. Or you can do the quote first. You can have the first thing that the person hears is this quote here. This is the best part of line dancing in Des Moines. It's the only one with a decent floor. You can do that too if you want to. You can structure this. You have freedom to structure this how you want to, and you don't have to use these quotes either. But if you want to follow, you can. If you want to follow this structure, you're welcome to do that too. All right, I'll go ahead and hit File, Save, because I want to make sure everything is saved. And so I have my VOSOT out. The next thing I need to add is my stand-up. So I need to find in my media folder where the stand-up is. And that can be hard when I'm using this list mode here. I can see a larger preview of everyone by clicking on the icon, and it will show up in this preview panel here. But it's kind of annoying to go through every single one, to go through this preview panel here like this. So what I can also do is if I double-click on the folder, it will open it up in another tab. Like this. So that's the Camera A tab. And I can make this tab in icon mode. And that gives me a little preview of every video clip. That's kind of nice to have. So I can see those. And I can even scrub through those clips. If I move my mouse and hover left to right, I can see a little preview, and if I want to see a bigger preview, I just double click and it shows up here in this. It looks so cool. Then I'll do the same thing for camera B. I'll open that up in its own bin and use this icon mode, and camera C in its own bin in this icon mode, just like this. And yeah, it looks like camera C is where my stand-up is. So I'll look through each stand-up and decide which one is the one I want. I can kind of scrub through here. So this is the one that says Isabel talking. We did a walking stand-up, awesome. And it looks like we did one more walking stand-up. Okay, and let's see what that looks like. Ooh, with a cool tilt. Sweet, let's take a look.
Good. Hello, my name is Isabel McCann, and today we're here at Miss Kitty's Bar in Clive, Iowa. This is no ordinary place. Miss Kitty's offers live music, line dancing, and limitless good times. Today we're going to go inside and take a look and see what they're all about. Let's go.
Awesome. Okay, so let's say we're using that one. It looks really cool. Let's say we're going to use that one. Then the next thing I'll do is, sorry, I need to find the audio that goes with that. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to go ahead and make a new sequence from this one, just from this clip here, my stand-up. Because I'm going to do some synchronizing, it'd be easier for me to do that in its own sequence than trying to do it in my main sequence. So I'm going to right-click and go to New Sequence from Clip. And now I've made a new sequence. The name of that sequence is just the name of the video clip that it was. And then if I go into my Projects tab here and go into my Media folder, I think it was in Camera C, you can see this one here that's colored differently and has a different icon. That's the sequence. It's confusing that the sequence has that name, MVI, a bunch of numbers. So I'm going to call this sequence Stand Up, and I'm going to drop it into my Sequences folder. All right, so it's just its own sequence called Stand Up, and it has the OK audio, but I'm going to go ahead and combine it with the better audio. So I'm going to go into my audio folder, and I have to figure out which one of these is my good audio from that Stand Up.
Let me know. We good? We good? Hello, my name is Isabel McCann, and
She did it.
okay, let's walk this side.
And I think we have the last one here.
Hello, my name is Isabel McCann.
I think this is the third one you did. So I can just drag the audio from this underneath my video one here. And then I'm going to click and drag over both. Right click, synchronize. And I'm synchronizing by the audio. Hit OK. Oh, it looks like I maybe chose the wrong one. So let me find the actual right one. Maybe it was this one instead.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Let's see. Maybe this is the one. Okay, we'll right click and synchronize. Oh, okay. Look, it says it's not. Let me listen to this one real quick.
My name is Isabel McCann. Good. Hello, my name is Isabel McCann.
Let's see.
Hello, my name is Isabel McCann.
Okay, so this is odd. It should be synchronizing, but I think I know why it's not. I'm glad I'm doing the tutorial. I think it's not synchronizing because it's recording to one channel but not the other one, and so Premiere is getting confused. So we're going to drag this over, and let me make this track a little bit larger so you can see the issue here. We can see it's only playing out of the right channel, not out of the left channel. I think we'll have an easier time synchronizing if we get it so that these waveforms are in both ears. So I'm going to right click and go to this option here, Audio Channels. I'm going to make sure that they're both playing LL like that. Oops, and now they're gone, sorry. Audio Channels. They need to both be out of this one. And now they're both, it's in both ears. And I bet now if I try to synchronize, I'll be embarrassed if this doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. This is so odd. Hold on a sec. I'm going to have to come back and record this. I'm going to try synchronizing one more time. Okay, so this is good. This is actually a situation where I'm going to synchronize manually, and why it was really smart that Isabel did a clap at the beginning. So I'm going to zoom in here, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to find that point where Isabel did her clap, which was right here. I'm going to mute this channel and just get to that clap right there. That's the clap right there. Then I'm going to use my cut tool and cut right at that spot. Okay. Then I'm going to mute this one and unmute the other one. Find the clap on this one. That's where she clapped, right? Cut right there. And pull this over here. and let's listen to see. I'm going to actually keep this one muted, and let's see if it sounds synchronized.
Hello, my name is Isabel McCann, and today we're here at Miss Kitty's Bar in Clive, Iowa. This is no ordinary...
So this is a great example of why it's a good idea to do a clap or to use a clapper at the beginning of your footage, because sometimes you got to do it manually. Sometimes for whatever reason, Premiere just can't do the synchronization. Don't know why, but I'm glad we went through it together. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unlink this nice video footage from this not so nice audio footage here. Just right click, choose unlink, and then I can delete that not so good audio footage. Then I'm going to select both of these, right click, and link. And now this audio channel, this nice audio channel, lives with the good video. And I'll unmute that.
Clive, Iowa. This is no ordinary...
So what I'll do next then is I want this stand-up footage to be in my main sequence. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight my stuff from my VOSAT and just move it over a little bit. Then I'll go to my stand-up sequence. I'm going to cut what I need from this.
Hello, my name is Isabel
So I'm going to make a little cut there where she says hello, and then to the very end.
Go inside and take a look and see what they're all about. Let's go.
And then I'll cut right there. Actually, no, I think I want the I want that tilt as well. Very fun. So all I need is this. I don't need the rest of this. I can just Command C to copy that. Then go to my main sequence, move my playhead to the beginning, Command V, and it's there. And then I will actually move this audio down to the following track, just so it doesn't interfere with my VOSAT at all. And now I've got my opening VOSAT here. Now, one thing I noticed at the end of this is it does go a little bit out of focus right here. So what I might do at this point where it goes a little bit out of focus is this might be a good place to actually just drop in some B-roll. So I might actually go to my camera B, camera A, camera C, one of these here. I'll just take a look. Maybe this one is the one. I don't even need the video from it. I might just grab some of the audio. I don't need the audio. I might just grab some of the video. And just right at this point where it goes out of focus.
Fine dancing and limitless good times. Today we're going to go inside and take a look and see what they're all about.
And then when she says, let's go, I'll drag that in.
Let's go.
And she's still out of focus, but it's like not enough that I think it's going to make a huge difference. Okay, so we've done the very beginning there. We've done our stand-up. And then the next thing that we hear, according to a little structure here, is the VOSAT. This first little VOSAT right here. So I'll move this right here.
Hello, my name is...
So we get to Isabel doing her stand-up, and so this first part here is a VOSAT, right? It's a VOSAT where Isabel is talking, and when Isabel is talking in this VOSAT, what are we looking at and what are we listening to? We're looking at and listening to B-roll. So this is where you can look through all of your B-roll from camera A, camera B, camera C, and decide on some clips that you want to see here. Now this little chunk of audio, this VOSAT is, let's see, 17 seconds to 30 seconds. It's about 13 seconds long. If you have, 3-second-ish clips in there, you're looking at 4 or 5 clips, and that's probably pretty good. Try to get a variety that really kind of grounds your viewer in this audio, in this location. So definitely an establisher needs to be in there, definitely a detail, and just like really what you think is like the most eye-catching shot should go in here. Now, I'm not going to go through every single shot in here, but I am going to grab one from the 4K camera. I grabbed one before, but let's grab a shot here that looks like it's a nice sort of establisher. That's what I'm going to start with, is like some sort of establisher that gives me a sense of the place. I like this one here where you're kind of at this ground level. And here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and start dragging it in. Now, if I drag it down, it drags the whole thing that was recorded, which is fine, not a big deal. But what if I don't want all of this? What if I know I really only want from like here to here? And that's all that I want of this clip. The way I can do that and only drag that much into my sequence is by making what's called in and out markers. So let's say I want from this point here, I can click right here to make an in marker. What I'm telling Premiere is I only want this much from here forward to go into my sequence. And then I can go a couple more seconds right here and make an out marker. And then I can drag this into my sequence. Now, if I drag it right here, the audio is going to cover up the audio of my VOSAT. I don't want that to happen, so I'll make it go one more so that the audio is not covering up anything else. And now I have
Learning
some
to
of that
line dance
footage.
can be intimidating for people with little to no dance experience.
Now there's two things you notice. One is that this video footage looks kind of weirdly cropped. That's because this particular bit of footage was filmed in 4K. I'll show you how to fix that. And two, you can hear that it's much louder than Isabel's Vosat. So what I can do is I need to make this track a little bit taller, just using this right here. And I need to find this horizontal line right here. This is the volume. If I click and drag and pull that down, I want to still be able to hear it.
This will be hard to find a good place to
A
start.
little bit. I want to hear the chatter, but I don't want it to be interfering with Isabel's Vosat.
Line dance can be intimidating for people with little to no dance experience.
Now, again, because this sequence is a full HD sequence, but this clip was filmed in 4K, the clip is actually larger. So to make it so I can see the whole clip, I need to click on the clip, then go to Effect Controls, go to Motion, Scale, and scale it down. If I scale it down to 50% exactly, I'll see the whole clip there.
Learning to line dance can be intimidating for people with
So I'm just going to choose, for this first Vosat, I'm going to choose again my clips that I think give me the best sense of place and that I think also sort of maybe a nice detail, clips that I just like the way they look. I'm not doing my interview stuff here. So I like this pan right here. I might take a couple seconds from this pan and drop this in here. I don't need very much from each of those. And I'm just getting I'm going really quick with this. I'm just picking 3 or 4 details. Oh, I like the rack focus, very nice. So I'm gonna pick this rack focus here, dropping it in, turning down the volume so it's not overwhelming, and just trying to give my viewer some variety. I'm giving my viewer plenty of variety, a nice tilt right here. And you sort of get the idea, just so we have something to look at while she's doing this Vosat.
no dance experience. It can also be hard to find a good place to start, especially in a big city like Des Moines. Miss Kitty's is a great place for both beginner and more advanced line dancers.
Okay, so that's the second part. We're almost done with the beginning here. So we've done the stand-up, we've done the Vosat, and now we need to do the part of the interview. So what I'll do is I'm going to find that quote from the interview. Nice thing about having the timestamp right there. It's where he says this is the best bar to line dance in Des Moines. So I need to find the interview. And it looks like you did your interviews with just one camera. So that means you won't have to do the multi-camera sequence bit. At least as far as I can tell, you did it with one camera. Oh, you did actually do it with 2 cameras. Okay, great. So we did it with 2 cameras. Good. All right, so then we are going to do a multi-camera sequence for this. I think that'll make our lives a little bit easier. All right, so the next thing to do I need to get this line from the interview. What I need to do is I need to go into my project panel, and I need to find the audio from this interview and the footage from this interview. So which ones were the footage, and then I'm going to put those all in one place, put those all in the same place. So let's see, I'll do my 4K footage. Which one of these was the interview? Just double clicking until I find, okay, this is the main interview here. And I'm actually going to take this guy and I'm going to drag just this clip here into my sequences folder. I know it's not a sequence, but I just trust me here, okay? I'll go into my camera B and find, there it is, it's right there, it's the first one. Drop it into my sequences folder. And then I'm going to find the audio from the interview. Let's figure out which one it was.
Recording. Sometimes it's twice a week, and sometimes even more than that.
So it looks like this is the one that's that. I'm going to drop this into the sequences folder. And then let me explain why I put that in the sequences folder. I'm going to make a multi-camera sequence from this video clip here, this audio, and this right here. So it's going to be these 3 bits here. This bit of video, and this bit of audio. So first thing I need to do is click on the audio one first, just single click on it, then hold the command key with your keyboard and click on the video clip that was from that interview and the other video clip that was from that interview. It's important that you click on the audio clip first, then I right click and do create multi-camera source sequence. I'm going to do it from, I'm going to call this a custom name and call it, I think this is the owner. I'm assuming this is the owner. I'll call it owner interview. I am synchronizing by audio. I do not need to do a preset, and I do not need to move source clips. So keep that unchecked, and then click OK. And it did it. It made an owner interview multi-camera source sequence. That should sound familiar. You've done that before. Then I'm going to right-click this one and do new sequence from clip. And now I have a new sequence. It's called owner interview. It is a multi-camera sequence. You've done this before. It's a multi-camera sequence. I can hear his audio. And then what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I can see all 3 camera angles. To do that, I need to click the little plus sign right here. I need to make sure that this one right here, this toggle multi-camera view, is a part of my toolbar down here. And then if I click that, I can see both camera angles.
I've been line dancing for even longer than that. For about 4.5 to 5.
And I hope I got the right guy here.
Okay.
My name is Dan.
Oh man, this was Dancing Dan, wasn't it? I picked the wrong guy, so this is not the owner. I'm just going to rename this sequence. Just right click on this. And unless they were both named, they couldn't have both been named Dan, could they? Oh, that is Dancing Dan. Okay, so I'm going to right click and rename this one to Dancing Dan interview. And let's just do it again. Let's do it again. So I'm going to go to my audio, find the audio from the owner, which I assume is this one.
So this is the...
Here's this one. I'm going to move this into my sequences folder. Boom. I'll find the media. So the 4K clip from the owner, this guy, move that into sequences. And the video clip from this guy, from this camera angle, move it into sequences, and we're doing it again. Going into my sequences. All right. So I want this one here, this one that's number 8. That's the one there. And I want this one 84. So I know it's going to be these two. And then my audio source here. All right. So I'm going to click on my audio source first, then hold Command, click on my video and my other video. So I got all 3 of those there. And then I will right click, create multi-camera source sequence. This one is owner interview, right, for real. It's by audio. I'm not moving my clips into a processed clips bin. Click OK. It is made owner interview for real here. Then I'll right click and then do new sequence from clip. And I've got a new sequence called owner interview for real. I've already toggled it into multi-camera view so I can see both camera angles. And then this is the one where I'm grabbing that quote from my script here. This is the best bar to line dance in Des Moines. I need to find where he says that. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit and find where he says that. And the nice thing is she has the timestamp.
So this is the best bar to line dance at in Des Moines.
So I'm going to find where he says that.
So this...
I don't need but I do like where he says this is the best bar to line dance. I'm going to zoom in here until he says those words. That's right about where he says this. Then I can use my cut tool to cut right there. Find the end of where he says
this is the best bar to line dance at in Des Moines.
And I think that was all that we grabbed from that. It's the only one with a decent floor.
It's the only one with a decent floor.
Okay, so I grabbed those. So this is my little bit of that interview. Now, if I want to switch between the 2 camera angles, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to switch between my 2 camera angles here.
Bar to line dance at in Des Moines.
So if I want to switch to a different camera angle when he says it's the only one with a decent floor, I can use my cut tool right there. And then on this one, I can switch to that camera angle.
Best bar to line dance at in Des Moines. It's the only one with a decent floor.
Great. Now I'm going to take those, drag, Command C, go to my main sequence here. Make sure I've got some room right here because this is where I'm going to drop it in. Just move my playhead right there, Command V to paste that in there. And now I've got my first bit of interview here. I'm going to drag it right up there and let's see what this looks like.
Find a good place to start, especially in a big city like Des Moines. Miss Kitty's is a great place for both beginner and more advanced line dancers.
This is the best bar to line dance at in Des Moines. It's the only one with a decent floor.
And hey, we have done the very beginning. We had a couple hiccups, but we worked through it together, and I think we've worked through the most difficult stuff from this. So this is the script that you can work from if you want to. You can move things around if you want to as well. But we have done the stand-up, we've done the VOSOT, and we've done that first bit of the interview. The rest of this will just be grabbing your VOSOTs, putting B-roll on top of those VOSOTs, and then grabbing more bits from the Dance and Dan interview or from the owner interview and copying them into the main sequence as you go, because it kind of just goes back and forth between VOSOTs and interview bits, as well as just kind of folding B-roll on the top of that. You don't need to worry about color correction for this first cut, and you don't need to worry about background music, and the sound doesn't need to be mixed perfectly. We'll do all of that for the second cut. You don't need to worry about adding a graphic or graphic identifiers or anything like that until we get to the final cut. This first cut is all about getting the full structure for the video from start to finish, and then we can do the polish and fine-tuning when we do the final cut. When you're done getting everything edited the way you want it to be, you go to the export window. You should be exporting, make sure that you are exporting the main sequence. So, because if you have one of these selected, it's only going to export this. So you have the main sequence selected, then go to export. It should be called Miss Kitty's Your Name Cut 1. Make sure you're going to location and click this little drop down so you have more options. Go to your hard drive, your Miss Kitty's folder, and it goes in your exports folder. You can ignore the rest of these settings here as long as it's H.264, which it should be by default. And then you can click export. We'll just export straight out of Premiere. I can't export while I'm doing a screen recording, but that will be where your export goes. And then what you will submit to Blackboard, actually you will go to the shared files folder on our Blackboard page. So let me find that for you. Let me open that up. Go to Courses, Video Production Lab, go to Shared Files, and Spring 25. Go to your travel show, and there's a folder here for Miss Kitty's, and just add your export into this folder called Exports, and add your project into this folder called Projects, please. So what that means is your sorry. So you should have one file in your exports folder and your Premiere project. Upload both of those, and then a note to Blackboard. You can just submit a note to Blackboard. You can give me a link to that, or you can just give me a note saying that you've submitted the assignment. Make sure you do that on Blackboard though, so that I know you've submitted the assignment and I can look in this folder to find that. When you've done that, you're done with your first cut. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.